Well, bit of a throwback today. I've got a dressing gown on. It's been a couple of years. Yeah, that was a bit of a running joke with the Roverseas mafia. So with Dirk and Pete, used to always wear a dressing gown talking about Blackburn. But anyways, Steve Waggott has gone. Yeah, quite a big day for the club. You feel after years now of the fans wanting him gone. Obviously, the chants echoing through Ewood Park for seasons upon seasons now at this point. It can only be seen as a positive. I mean, his record at kind of Coventry and also with us kind of speaks for itself. I think it was 7 years he was with us, so he kind of has overseen a lot of mistakes in especially the past few years. I think of the O'Brien situation, and there was also the kid from Rochdale as well, or Brealey, I think his name might have been. I can't remember now, but he went to Brentford, I think, the following season. Duncan Maguire, and then obviously the season just gone, finding ourselves in a situation where we had to let Arne Sigurdsson. We had to pay him off the rest of his contract because we had too many players um, for the 25-man squad. So we had to let Sigurdsson go, which is just embarrassing, really. So, the past three January windows have been hard for sure, and have seen us kind of. 2 seasons ago with the O'Brien situation, we get him, we probably would have made the playoffs. With obviously, well, it feels weird saying last season, but it's not really last season anymore, is it? Um, that would be 2 seasons ago now with Duncan Maguire. Obviously, we could have found ourselves in a situation where we could have got relegated because we didn't get him. It did go down to literally the final day, thank God. Sammy Smodics managed to stay fit that entire time. And then this season just gone. Obviously, the situation with Sigurdsson, who I'm not saying by any means would have made the difference between us getting playoffs or not, but he would have been a hell of a lot more useful than someone like Coley Woodrow or Emmanuel Dennis would have been, you would think. So, yeah, just kind of just a shambles behind the scenes in regards to that, but also, giving himself pay rises off the back of, a season where we've survived on the final day. To me, that just, infuriated me. Obviously, that season should have been a season where we built on the fact we just missed out on the playoffs, not, being a season where we literally survived by the skin of our teeth. And if we hadn't have won at Leicester away, we would have gone down. So to give himself a pay rise after that was ridiculous. And just not being open and transparent enough with the fans. There hasn't been enough communication from Steve pretty much the entire time he's been here. And it's not been good enough considering everything that's happened. Obviously, we've had falling outs now with John Dahl Thomason and John Eustace. Two managers, head coaches, whatever, walking away from the club within a year of each other. So it does just make bad kind of viewing for us as a whole. And obviously, it was only a month or two ago where they released the video of Waggott being there with Gestead and Sahale, and you kind of got the feeling that Steve wasn't going anywhere. But the statement released, literally being three lines, despite obviously the fans' sentiments towards Steve, does just seem strange with no reasoning as to why he's gone or why they've come to that decision or whatever the reasoning is. I feel like again it's just a lack of communication. As happy as we all are as fans, it is just a massive lack of communication again. And yeah, obviously the next question now, I suppose, is who is going to be the CEO or the COO, whatever Steve's position was, who's going to be the top dog. You know, a lot of people saying on Twitter they hope Rudy doesn't get it. I would be absolutely gobsmacked if we went all in on Rudy like that and gave him that opportunity. He's already out of his depth, really, in the position he has now. You know, this is his first time working in this sort of job. So he's already out of his depth being in a championship club doing this job. For him to then get a promotion up to Steve Waggott's position would be laughable. So I just hope it's someone who's maybe a bit younger, got some maybe fresh ideas, some enthusiasm. Just we kind of want a stark contrast to everything Steve Waggott kind of was, and someone who's going to be really open with communication and just honest. Don't want any more of these lies like we always got from Waggott. That would be a start, wouldn't it? So yeah, I mean, obviously, I can't help but feel, as people have said on Twitter, that the timing of this statement is convenient off the back of obviously what's happened with the Rovers women's. I don't really have any sort of affiliation or pay any sort of interest, I'll be honest, to the women's team, but I do still think it's another embarrassment on this club, the fact we can't fund a women's club to be professional. You know, those women survived in the league last season, and it is a slap in the face to them now that they're going to be relegated to whatever division because we can't put up the funds. And it does just go to show that everything that is wrong with the ownership right now. And don't get me wrong, I will always prioritise the men's team over the women. You know, if the women's did have to get defunded for us to have X, Y, and Z for the men's team, whatever that may be, then unfortunately that is the way it is going to have to be. And, you know, I think 99% of Rovers fans would agree with that. But it is still embarrassing. It is still a blight on this club, and it goes along with so many other things over the past few years that have just been really embarrassing for Rovers and just doesn't paint the club in a good light whatsoever. But yeah, reasons to be positive after today anyway, and hopefully that can maybe see a boost in season ticket sales, you know, maybe a slight boost. Obviously we're in phase 2 now, so it will be a bit more pricey for people to go and buy a season ticket now, but yeah, I guess we'll wait and see what the numbers look like for the season tickets, and yeah, let's bring on next season, and let's just hope with a fresh kind of pair of hands at the top of the club we can maybe finally make the playoffs. Maybe. Cheers for watching, guys.
Hi, Dirk. Yeah, honestly, I don't really know how to feel at this point. The problem is deep-rooted at Blackburn. So Waggott was, I suppose, the first piece in the puzzle to go. But it's just one of those things, he's gone now. Who's going to replace him? We're not exactly an attractive club right now. And also, yeah, just who's going to come in? Is it just going to be another one of the Venky's little henchmen that come in? Is it going to be someone that's already at the club that's potentially another one of the issues just sort of stepping up? I'm glad it's happened, and I think it needed to happen, but I just sort of wonder, what next? If this is the start of a clear out, it might be amazing for the club. But I, like many others, want to see the Venky's gone. I want to see him. I want to see him gone. There's nothing else about it. But I just wonder, who's going to want us? Who wants us, really? We're not exactly an attractive club. Yes, we sort of outperformed ourselves. We outperformed what everybody thought of us last season. But we're very much just at a point where amazing news, but what next? And I know it's a very pessimistic way of looking at it, and I know all these fans and everything like that are going to just sort of say well, no one's ever happy. Yeah, I'm not, but I'm hoping it's positive, and that's the best I can sort of give you right now.
So that's it. Steve Waggott is no longer at the helm of Blackburn Rovers. I suppose that'll make a lot of Blackburn Rovers supporters happy. Me, I'm not so sure. He's made a lot of mistakes along the way, but sometimes is it a case of the better the devil you know, especially working with the Venkies. You know, we've got to be careful what we wish for. I think it's dangerous ground. You know, do we now have somebody that's closely linked to the Venkies that will start cracking the whip at a local level? A few names have been bandied around already. We also don't know the reasons. We don't know, you know, if the fact that has Steve Waggott taken a job somewhere else. You know, this is all it's all early days, isn't it? But yeah, like I say, he's made a lot of mistakes. He's annoyed a lot of people. Communication hasn't been great, although to be fair, it's been getting better. So yeah, I guess it's only time's going to tell. You know, we could be looking back in 2 years' time saying thank God he's gone, and it was the right time to go, and look who's come in and done an amazing job. On the flip side, our club now could be even further in tatters. We just don't know. I think Steve Waggott probably filtered a lot of stuff from Rovers fans for obvious reasons, but who knows. Anyway, I don't need to think about this. Here I am, look at that, beautiful, in a lovely Crete. Get away for a few days. We did have an earthquake about 61 kilometres away from here, right in the middle of the sea last night, so I was woken up at 5:15 this morning, which is quite a big statement because I'm quite a deep sleeper, for anything to wake me up. But woke up to the room shaking, woke up to the swimming pool with loads of waves going over it and lots of water filtering out of it. But yeah, anyway, all's good. We were told to stay away from the coast, but as you can see, because there's a fear of a tsunami, but as you can see, not many people are paying that much attention to it. So anyway, if it does hit, I won't have to worry about Rovers or Steve Waggott, will I? But anyway, that's my views. Be careful what I wish for. Only time will tell. Over and out.